Where are you? All your things are gone, I asked my husband, my voice shaking with frustration. Yeah, I moved out, Jake said coldly, like it was no big deal. You refused to live with my mom, so I went ahead and got a new house. A new house? With what money? I asked, feeling a growing sense of fear. That's when she grabbed the phone. That's right, my son and I have a new place now, my mother-in-law, Linda, said with a smug tone. Let's see if you can manage on your own. I hung up, my heart pounding. I thought I had seen it all, but nothing could have prepared me for this. My name is Lily, I'm 29 years old and a housewife. I married Jake 5 years ago, and we lived in an apartment together. We don't have kids yet, we aren't rich, but we live comfortably, working jobs we both enjoy. Then, about 6 months ago, everything started to change. My mother-in-law, who lived nearby, insisted on moving in with us. No matter how much we explained that it wouldn't work, she wouldn't listen. To my shock, Jake started taking her side. Our relationship got worse, and then Jake made a terrible decision. Since my father-in-law passed away a few years ago, Linda had been living alone. She was fine, but she kept saying she didn't feel safe by herself. I can't live alone anymore, I don't feel comfortable, she told us again and again. But that wasn't the real issue. Her house was old and falling apart. It needed major repairs, but she didn't want to pay for them, so she decided that moving in with us was the best solution for her. I can't stay in that rundown house forever, she said one day. But when Jake and I got married, he promised we wouldn't live with his mom. Her house was only 10 minutes away, so if she needed help, we could get there quickly. But deep down, I knew she never liked me. Even before the wedding, she would take every chance to make rude comments. Are you sure Lily knows how to take care of a home? She once said sarcastically in front of Jake. That's when I realized, if she moved in, life would be a nightmare. To make things worse, she had recently quit her part-time job and wasn't working at all. If she lives with us, we'll have to cover all her expenses too, I told Jake, frustrated with our financial situation. We just can't afford it. But Linda snapped, don't act so high and mighty when my son is the one supporting you. I work from home, and your son doesn't support me, I told her, but she ignored me. You should be grateful you have such a comfortable life because of Jake. Her words were completely false, because I knew the truth. We can live just fine on my son's income. Do you even know how much Jake makes each month? I asked, trying to stay calm. Oh, of course, Linda said confidently. He's my son, and you should be grateful he has a good salary. Oh really? I raised an eyebrow. If Jake's salary was so high, then a part-time worker who only works 3 days a week would be rich too. Linda ignored me and kept talking in a smug tone. I'll handle the housework so you can go get a job, she said. You must be bad with money if my son makes so much, yet you still can't manage. You must be a big spender. No, I snapped. I already told you, I work. I earn my own money and save as much as I can. I'm not wasting anything. I tried another approach. Besides, this apartment is too small for 3 adults, I pointed out. But Linda just shrugged. Then do you want to move to a bigger place? Or maybe buy a house? Her words stuck in my mind. Something about this felt off. Later, when I talked to Jake, it was like he had been brainwashed. He had completely changed his mind. Did he really want to live with his mother, or was he just too scared to say no to her? Stop being so difficult with my mom, he said. Then, he said something that truly made me question him. Wouldn't it be more fun if she lived with us? She says she'll do all the housework for you. It'll make things easier for you too, Lily, he added. Jake was completely on board with moving in together. What should I do? I felt lost. I refused for as long as I could, but then Jake did something drastic. While I was out one day, he packed his things and left. When I got home and saw his stuff was gone, I called him right away. Where are you? All your things are missing, I demanded. Yeah, I moved out, he said coldly. You refused to live with mom, so I went ahead and bought a house. A house? With what money? I asked, completely shocked. That's when Linda grabbed the phone. That's right, my son and I will live in our new home for now, she said smugly. Maybe we'll come back once you've had time to think. You probably can't even afford rent without him. You'll regret this. I felt ridiculous even listening to her. Okay, well, excuse me, I muttered before hanging up. She was still trying to throw sarcastic comments at me, but I had no interest in hearing them. A house? Yeah, right, they were definitely lying. There was no way Jake and Linda could afford to buy a house. I didn't know where they had gone, and honestly, I didn't care. They could do whatever they wanted. I had been paying the rent myself anyway, so I had nothing to worry about. I could live on my own without Jake. That's when I started seriously thinking about divorce. A few days later, my phone rang. "Hey, Daniel, it's been a while," I greeted my brother as I answered. "Lily, Jake and his mom are at my house," he said. "What?" I gasped. My brother owned a house, but right after buying it, he got transferred for work. Since then, I had been in charge of keeping an eye on it. "Hold on," I said. I ran to my bedroom and checked the safe. It wasn't there. "The key to your house is missing," I told Daniel in shock. "Did you call Jake?" he asked. "No, I'm sorry, Daniel, it's just a long story." But I already had a good idea of what was happening. "What should I do?" he asked. "We should call the police." "Yeah, but they're still your family," he said hesitantly. "I don't think the police will do anything," my brother, Daniel, said. "You're right, I'm sorry, I'll handle it in a couple of days. Can you wait a little?" I asked. "Okay, just let me know if you need help," he assured me. "Thanks," I said before hanging up. Right after that, I called Jake. To my surprise, Linda answered instead. "Oh, I hope you're feeling sorry now," she said smugly. "Why are you answering his phone? Where are you?" I demanded. "You don't sound sorry at all," she sneered. "Where are you?" I asked again, my patience running out. "I don't have to tell you anything, you're desperate, aren't you? You don't want to lose your husband with his $9,000 monthly salary," she continued. $9,000 salary? Who are you talking about? I asked, confused. "My son, of course, a man who earns enough to buy such a wonderful house," she boasted. I couldn't help but burst into laughter. "What's so funny?" she snapped. "Jake said that if you don't listen to him, he's willing to divorce you." "I see, divorce is fine," I replied calmly. "How stubborn can you be? If he leaves you, how will you survive on your own?" she scoffed. "Oh, I'll be just fine. I have no interest in a husband who only makes $900 a month." Silence. Linda didn't say a word. Maybe she was too shocked to speak. I smirked and added, "Hello? Are you still there? Mother of a man who barely earns $900 a month? What are you talking about?" she finally said. "Jake earns $900 a month from his part-time job," I told her. "You must be mistaken. He told me he makes around 9. "Yes, that's right, around 9, I agreed. "Well, $99,000 is a great salary," she mumbled. "No, Linda, it's $900. That can't be right," she protested. "It was my salary that paid for everything. I make around 5 myself," I added. 500? She guessed. "No, 5,000, according to the way you count," I corrected her. I was never financially dependent on him. Jake quit his job years ago and has only been working part-time, 3 days a week. Linda fell silent again. "So," I continued. "And by the way, the house you're living in, the one you think Jake bought, it belongs to my brother." "No, Jake bought this house for me," she insisted. "No, it's Daniel's house. I was looking after it while he and his family lived elsewhere. He gave me the key, and Jake took it without permission." I paused before delivering the final blow. "So, what you and Jake did is a crime. I'm going to report it to the police." "Wait, okay, we'll leave, just don't call the police," she begged. Then, she hung up, screaming. I was sure she and Jake were arguing now. When I later checked my brother's house, they were gone. They must have run back to their own place in a panic. I called Daniel right away and apologized for the trouble Jake had caused. There was just one last thing I needed to do: divorce my selfish husband. I signed the divorce papers and sent them to Linda's house. Jake called me in a panic. "You're joking, right? I'm sorry, I apologize about the house. Please, give me another chance," he pleaded. "I can't stay married to a thief. Go enjoy living with your mother, the person you love most," I said coldly. "I can't live without you," he begged. "Then get a full-time job. Good luck earning $99,000 a month," I replied. Jake refused to sign the papers, so I hired a lawyer, and the divorce was finalized quickly. I was finally free from that impossible mother and son who tried to force me to live with them. Jake and Linda went back to their rundown house. He tried to find a full-time job, but since he had worked part-time for so long, no company wanted to hire him. They are still living on his $900 salary, and Linda had to start working part-time again. Now, they fight every single day. As for me, I moved out of the apartment and found a new home for myself. I no longer have to support him. Now that I'm on my own, I can work even more from home. My income is steadily growing, and once I save enough, I plan to buy my own house, one that's truly mine.